Hey, Tiger fans, we are live. Welcome into another Monday afternoon edition of the Babin on the Bayou show. I'm your host, as always, Justin Babin Jr. It is Monday, April 27th, 2026. And yes, unfortunately, we got to recap another bad weekend on the baseball diamond. This time, LSU Baseball gets swept in Starkville by Mississippi State. 9 straight SEC conference play losses for LSU Baseball. We got to recap it, talk about all of it. But I thank you anyway, as always, for tuning in to the Babin on the Bayou show. Before we get into everything, want to remind you of our wonderful sponsors and our wonderful friends over at Shield Heating and Cooling, best AC company in the business today. Remember that number, 225-46-BAYOU, 225-46-BAYOU, B-A-Y-O-U. Call the team over at Shield Heating and Cooling today at that number. Tell them you heard about them from the Babin on the Bayou show, and you will be receiving free AC system cleaning checks for every AC system in your home, courtesy of the team over at Shield Heating and Cooling. Also, it has been a rough season on the baseball diamond for our LSU Tigers. But I'm always going to love and root on my Tigers. I'm always going to love my Tigers. But you know what I also love? I also love food, especially sweets. And folks, there's not a better place that I personally have found to satisfy all of the delicious sweet treat desires that you may have than the bakery over at Sugar Me Sweets Cakes and Confections. From fresh baked chocolate chip cookies to cupcakes to cake squares to custom decorated cakes, the team over at Sugar Me Sweets Cakes and Confections has it all. You can reach them. Their number is 225-250-1950, 225-250-1950, or you can visit them in person. Their bakery is located in the city of Central, 8565 Rome Drive, 8565 Rome, R-O-M-E Drive. They have a storefront that always stays fully stocked with all of your last-minute dessert needs. So the best bakery around. Again, that's Sugar Me Sweets, Cakes, and Confections. Okay, folks, we gotta get into the show today. Man, I'm really starting to resent these Monday recap shows, man. Starting to really not like doing it. I hate it, man. But we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna talk about everything that happened this weekend. What's up, my guy, Paul Jarrett? What is up, my friend? Thank you for tuning into this show. Folks, 9 straight SEC losses in SEC conference play for LSU baseball. That is the worst and longest losing streak in conference play in the history of this program. That's where we are. That's where we are right now, folks. And what a brutal season. What a brutal season, man. It's been a terrible season. Like, obviously, like you've been swept in 3 straight weekends in a row. I don't think that's happened in 50, 60 years. I mean, I hate to put it like this, but you're breaking records in all of the wrong ways, in all of the ways that you don't want to with the baseball that you're playing this year. And it sucks, man, because I say it every week. I think you do have some talent on this team individually. I think you have some talent on this team. I mean, I really do. I think at times we've seen some fighting spirit and some competitiveness from this team clawing their way back in games that they've been down in early in the season. And all of the games this weekend were fairly close. We're pretty close. So I don't question the fight. I don't question the competitiveness, and I don't question I think you have individual talent, but I say it every week. I say that every week. And they've proven to be a well below average baseball team, when you put everything together. I mean, that's kind of what it's proven out to be this season, and it absolutely sucks. It absolutely sucks. I mean, if you had told me that a Jay Johnson coached baseball team would break the record for the longest losing streak in conference play in LSU baseball program history, I would have asked you, what are you smoking? I would have asked you, what are you smoking and what are you talking about? If you would have told me that for the first time in 50 to 60 years or whatever, back to when they, started keeping these records, that LSU for the first time in forever basically would get swept in 3 straight weekend series. I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have believed you. And I understand you can't win a national championship every year. You can't do it. And I do believe absolutely Jay Johnson is a phenomenal baseball coach. He's an excellent, excellent baseball coach. There's nobody else I would rather have coaching this program right now. But this season, I can understand I can understand you struggling. I understand that at Saturday and Sunday in games 2 and 3, you're playing without Cooper Moore, without Jake Brown, without Kason Evans, without John Pearson, without Seth Dardar, without Chris Stanfield. Like, I understand you're hurt. I understand you're injured. But 9 straight. Come on now. Like, let's be real. We got to be real. We got to be real and say that 9 straight is just it's not acceptable at a program like LSU. Like, this is not LSU brand of baseball. And I know this isn't Jay Johnson brand of baseball, and Jay Johnson's, a great coach, and I understand that. But you're talking about 9 straight, guys. Like, what are we doing here? You've been swept in 3 straight weekend series. I mean, it's been a brutal season, man. And I've said it all year. You don't play any complimentary baseball. I talked about it when I was had the honor of being a guest co-host on Go Deep Dive on Saturday night with doing the post game with David after game 2. Like, when one phase does well, when one phase does great, every other phase goes to crap. Every other phase goes to crap. I mean, think about the series losses, the SEC series losses that you've had this season. Against Vanderbilt, I thought your offense was pretty good, pretty solid against Vanderbilt. I mean, they put up double-digit runs in 2 out of the 3 games that they played in that series. Your pitching staff issued 25 plus free passes and really had a really bad weekend in Nashville. Against OU, against Oklahoma, your pitching staff was broadly fine, but your offense was absolutely it was really bad in games 2 and 3 of the Oklahoma series. That's why you lost that series. I wouldn't say one phase of this team was particularly good in the Ole Miss series. I thought all phases really struggled against Ole Miss. I wouldn't say one phase was particularly a strength in that series. Texas A&M, I mean, in that series, you're facing one of the top offenses, one of the best offenses, one of the best lineups in the country. So we kind of knew they were going to be able to put up some runs on the board with how high-powered of an offense that they are. But against a pitching staff that statistically coming in was one of the worst or towards the bottom in the Southeastern Conference, your offense couldn't really do anything against the Texas A&M pitching staff. And then this weekend, man, I mean, your offense put up 8 runs on Friday, 8 runs on Saturday, 8 runs on Sunday. It was a lot better in terms of production from an offensive standpoint than we've seen in recent weeks. And your bullpen flat out wasn't good. Your bullpen flat out cost you the series, not being able to execute late in games. I mean, you had a lead in the 6th inning. I mean, we can kind of go through it, and we'll kind of go through it. I shortened the game flow out a lot. Like, I shortened it out a lot because I don't want to bore you with all of it because it's been so depressing. So we'll kind of go through some of it a little bit shortened. But like on Friday, you had a 7-5 lead in the 6th inning. On Saturday, you had a 7-2 lead in the 7th inning. And on Sunday, yesterday, you had an 8-5 lead in the 6th inning on Sunday. Like, I mean, you're winning late in those games. And we talked all season. The other frustrating point, we talked all season about this team struggling to start games. This team absolutely starting slow in a lot of games this season and having to claw their way back. Guys, they put up 3 runs in the 1st inning on Friday, 3 runs in the 1st inning on Saturday, 3 runs in the 1st inning on Sunday. They were up 3-0 in the 1st inning in all 3 games this weekend. They were up 7-5 in the 6th Friday, 7-2 in the 7th on Saturday, 8-5 in the 6th on Sunday, and your bullpen blew it, man. Like, your bullpen imploded in some of these innings that we'll get to we'll kind of try to keep it more general on the show today because, man, it is depressing. Like, it's absolutely depressing. And it's not a single guy. It's not an individual player. There's not a quick fix to this. I don't think there's a fix to this season. I don't think there's a fix to this season. I just cannot believe where we're at right now. I cannot believe that you broke records this weekend with how bad you've been playing. Like, man, it's just it's sad, man, because I do think you have talent. And when I said earlier that it was unacceptable at a program like this, that's not me saying anything about Jay Johnson. Y'all know how I feel about Jay Johnson. Y'all know I think he's a great coach. But like, man, I can't believe where you're at. I can't believe that this was Jay Johnson's first team at LSU to start a perfect 8-0 in the first 8 games of the season. And now you break the record for the longest losing streak in program history. And you break like a 65-year mark for getting swept in 3 straight weekend series. That's the same team. It's the same team that started 8-0. The same exact team. It is just, man, and it's a lot. I think it's the fact that, again, you can't put all 3 phases together in a weekend. I mean, we went through it earlier. It's the injuries are a part of it, like Kason Evans being out, Jake Brown, Cooper Moore, Chris Stanfield, Seth Dardar, John Pearson. Like, I understand that. I absolutely understand some of that, but you were struggling when those guys were in the lineup. Let's be honest. You were struggling when those guys were in the lineup. It has been a brutal season this year. You're 6-15 in SEC play. And right now, it's not looking like you're making it past Hoover. It's not looking like you're making it past Hoover. And it is very, very disappointing. I mean, I do think that you have a lot of future freshman talent that really shined this weekend. I thought Omar Cerna was great this weekend. Mason Braun was really good. Cade Aaron Beatty was good as well. He'll be back next year. Like, and we can get into all of that. But I can't believe where you are, man. I'm shocked. And we all are. And we all should be. And we all should be flat out just, man, I didn't I didn't expect any of this. And again, Jay Johnson is a great coach. I understand all of that, but it's just I can't believe where you are. I can't believe the records that you broke this weekend. I really can't. What's up, Paul? What's up, Goose Sports? Thank y'all for tuning in. AP, what's up, AP? I need whatever someone is smoking to feel better. Facts, Paul. Step back for what better be a setback for what better be a major comeback. What's up, Alex? Next year. I don't know, man. Like, we'll go through some of this game flow. I shortened it out a lot. I really did. I don't wanna do all this game flow today for everything, but we'll kind of go through it. I mean, on Friday, obviously, we found out 30 minutes before the game on Friday that Kason Evans was out for Friday, and he didn't pitch at all this weekend. Believe he had some arm soreness is the first report that I kind of heard. You hope Kason is okay. You hope he can come back maybe this weekend or whatever. But honestly, you're in a point now this season where is it like, if he is hurt, like I forget who said this, but somebody made this point the other night. If he is hurt, or if he is like, it's kind of iffy on if he should come back, then you probably don't send him back out there this season because you're 6-15, guys. Like you're 6-15. It is what it is this season at this point. It just kind of is what it is. And I hate saying that. I hate saying that because I don't want to give up on this team and I don't want to give up on these guys. And I'm going to keep rooting for them. But we got to be honest about where you are. And I don't see you making it to the postseason. We were talking about it on Go Deep Dive on Saturday night. Like, Paul, you asked the question, what do you think their record is in their final 10 games? Well, you lost against Mississippi State, so you lost that series. Final 9 games, I mean, I don't see you winning a game against Georgia. I see you getting swept by Georgia, so that's 3 losses right there. I'll give you South Carolina, but I wouldn't take this team to sweep anybody. So I'll say I'll say that's 2-4, going 2 out of 3 against South Carolina, getting swept by Georgia, and then I don't see you winning a series against Florida. So what? I'm thinking 3-6. I'm thinking I'm thinking like 10-20 right now. I'm thinking 10-20 right now, and that is shocking. But you are where you are, and I know the injuries hurt, and the injuries absolutely do hurt. But it's a culmination of everything this season. We'll kind of get into some stuff on Friday. Of course, Kaysen didn't get that start, so you had Gavin Guidry come in. Guidry got the start. He would give up 3 runs on 3 hits, 2 2/3 innings for Gavin Guidry. But again, you had a 7-5 lead going into the bottom of the 6th inning of that game on Friday. I mean, Omar Cerna and Steven Milam would both drive in runs in the first on singles for both Cerna and Milam. Cerna would hit a solo home run in the 3rd inning of the game on Friday. Mississippi State would commit some defensive mistakes in the 4th inning on Friday, and that would be coupled with a 2 RBI single by Steven Milam. That would add in a couple runs. I mean, Steven Milam's been really good at the plate lately. Milam's been really, really good at the plate lately with what he's been able to do, and I think Omar Cerna, again, had a great weekend. But again, with Kaysen Evans being out, with Kaysen Evans not being able to throw this weekend, and I mean, Friday it was an 11-inning game. It was an 11-inning game on Friday. And you threw Guidry, you threw Cowan, you threw Sheeran, you threw Fontenot, you threw Santiago Garcia. Like, you threw your bullets. You absolutely threw everything you had. Your top guys. Those have been your top guys this year in the bullpen, and you threw those guys. You were up 2 runs in the 6th, and this was the first one that was just absolutely atrocious, man. You're up 7-5. You're up 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, and you give up 2 runs. You let them tie the game 7-7 without a single hit in the bottom of the 6th inning. They didn't have a hit in the bottom of the 6th, but they scored 2 runs anyway and tied the game. Devin Sheeran would walk 2 batters. Sheeran would walk 2. Trent Caraway, who was playing third, he had a bad throw attempt to Jack Ruckert at second base, kind of threw Jack Ruckert off the bag. So those runners would be safe with the bases loaded. Sheeran would hit a batter to bring a run in. That would make it 7-6, and then a sac fly RBI later in the inning would tie the game up at 7. Santiago Garcia had a good 7th and 8th inning. Garcia kind of settled the game down with 2 scoreless innings in the 7th and 8th inning. So I thought, again, Garcia's been the best left-hander on this pitching staff by far this season, and it's not even close. Like, it's not even close who is the best left-hander on this pitching staff, and that's been Santiago Garcia. LSU would take the lead back. They would score another run in the 9th. You would have a single by Mason Braun. Then you would have another. You would have an RBI single, opposite field RBI single by William Patrick that drove in a run. And it would be 8-7 going into the bottom of the 9th. Garcia would go back out there after a clean 7th and 8th. Garcia would walk a batter in the 9th. That runner that he walked would eventually reach second. Unfortunately, when the umps ruled on a double play ball that Steven Milam's foot was off the bag when he caught it. And it's unfortunate. Like guys have said this week, like the guys from Go Deep Dive said it, like, shortstops have been turning that double play for 100 years now. And now, because of you have review, you can actually go back and review that. So because Milam's foot technically wasn't on the bag, that runner's safe. So that runner is safe at second base. And then Ryder Woodson would hit an RBI single to tie the game up later in the inning. It was a hard hit ball. Milam tried to get out in front of it, but it kind of just, got past him. I mean, Steven Milam's the best shortstop in the country, best defensive shortstop in the country. So I'm not going to criticize him. He made an amazing play right after that to kind of get out of the 9th inning and go to extra innings, tied with the game tied at 8. So he still made an amazing play to end that inning. LSU had the bases loaded in the 10th inning, but shout out to the Mississippi State left fielder. I believe his name is James Nunnally. Made an amazing diving catch to end the 10th inning when LSU had the bases loaded. And if that ball lands in the field, that probably scores 2 runs at least for LSU. Zach Cowan would pitch. He pitched a little bit in the ninth, pitched in the 10th, but unfortunately, Cowan would give up a 2-run walk-off home run to Mississippi State's Kevin Maluski in the bottom of the 11th inning, and Mississippi State would win 10-8. Few things on this I want to say is, like, again, you had it. Like, you were up too late. We've been talking about having a better start. Like, we've been talking about that all season. And you were up 3-0 in every single game this weekend. You had the good starts, and then you couldn't finish. You couldn't start well, and for most of the season, and this weekend you couldn't finish well. Like I said, when it's the same thing when it comes to the 3 phases of the game between the offense, the pitching, and the defense in the field. When one phase is good, all of the other phases go to crap. Like, that's what's happened throughout this season. It's unfortunate, man. And I want to say this, like, it's something we've talked about a lot this year. Case and Evans. Like, we've talked a lot about Case and Evans this year, and a lot of people have been questioning him. I know Paul has been talking about that. Did you see how much it hurt your pitching staff this weekend to not have Case and Evans in the game? Did you see how much they struggled to not have Case and Evans out there? Like, to not have him start on Friday, do you see how much that cost you? You had your worst weekend as a pitching staff since week 1 of SEC play in Nashville against Vanderbilt. You had your worst, pitching performance as a pitching staff since then. I'm not saying Case and Evans has been perfect this season by any means, but do you see how much it hurt you to not have him? Because it did. It absolutely did. You had to throw everybody on Friday. You threw Cowan, you threw Guidry, you threw Fontenot, Sheeran, Garcia. You didn't have Case and Evans. You didn't have your Friday night guy. And I know a lot of you question if he's a Friday night guy. Newsflash, there's not a Cade Anderson or an Anthony Ianson on this team. I wouldn't say you have an ace on this team right now. I would not say you have a true Friday night bona fide ace, bona fide stud in this starting rotation, in this pitching staff. I think Caden Evans has been good this year. I think William Schmidt has been good at times this year, but you don't have a Cade Anderson. You don't have an Anthony Ianson. That's not what you have. So everybody who's been saying, on about Casey Evans on Friday, because we've heard it all season, and I know my boy Paul Jarrett has talked about it. Do you see how much it hurt you not to have him? Because it hurts you. It hurts you this weekend, man. It absolutely did. And by the way, who else do you want on that Friday roll? Who else do you want? I mean, I'm just saying, for everybody who's been talking about Casey Evans, everybody who's been talking about him, how much did it hurt you not having that guy on Friday? How much? It was your worst pitching weekend since Nashville, and you didn't have Casey Evans in there. And I hope he's able to come back. I don't know. I don't know what you do with him because of where you're at in the season. I don't know what you do with him. If anything's iffy, I don't know if you bring him back. I don't know. But that's kind of a point I wanted to make about that for everybody who's been talking about it. Let's see. 1-9, and I'm sticking with it. Yeah, Paul. He is a Friday night guy. Let's see. There isn't one yet. Evans is your ace on the staff. He goes the deepest, has the most consistent starts. Yeah, when I say you don't have, I'm not saying Casey Evans can't be an ace, because I think he can. He's going to come back next year, and I think he's been good throughout the season. Like, you know me, Paul. I'm with you, Paul. I'm with you. But right now on this pitching staff, do you have a Friday night guy? Like, do you have a top guy? My point has always been, who do you replace Casey with? Who do you replace him with? Because I wasn't really impressed by anybody this weekend. I mean, I thought Santiago Garcia threw a couple good innings on Friday. Danny Lockenmeyer threw a couple good innings on Saturday. But, like, I'm just making the point. How much did it hurt you not to have him this weekend? How much did that hurt you? Because it absolutely did. let's see. Yo, David, what is up, my friend? Caden Ant. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yes, you have Case and Evans. Schmidt threw a respectable 4 like he always does. We'll get into that with Schmidt on Saturday. Uh, let's Let's do this right now. Want to tell you real quick about our wonderful friends. We're also here at the Babin on the Bayou show. We're also very proudly sponsored by Devin Nola and his team over at Nola Plumbing and Construction. Nola Plumbing and Construction consistently deliver high quality work. Their team is known for being very trustworthy, dependable, and reliable. So if you're in the Baton Rouge area or the surrounding Baton Rouge area, and you have any plumbing needs, give NOLA Plumbing and Construction a call today, 225-512-2900, 225-512-2900. Devin and his team over at NOLA Plumbing and Construction do great work. You can trust them with all of your plumbing needs. Again, that's 225-512-2900. All right, on Saturday, get into the game on Saturday. Again, you had a 7-2 lead in the 7th inning on Saturday. 7-2 lead in the 7th inning on Saturday. William Schmidt got the Saturday start. He went 4 innings, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, 3 walks, 1 wild pitch, 5 strikeouts. I think Schmidt has been good at times this year. Like, I do think obviously he has his stuff, but it's something we talked about on Saturday when I had the privilege of doing co-hosting with David for Go Deep Dive, filling in for Zach on Saturday. Like, William Schmidt hasn't really gone deep or extended in any of his outings this year outside of the one game he had early in the season against UCF. Like, he doesn't really get past the 6th inning. And maybe sometimes he'll go 5 or he'll go 5 1/3 or something. But the thing is like, Schmidt has his stuff, but when he gets to 2 strike counts, he struggles to get that batter out. Like, they'll foul a few pitches off, they'll get it back to 3-2, get it back to a full count. That's something I've noticed with Schmidt a lot this season. I mean, he threw 89 pitches in just 4 innings. So I do think William Schmidt has the stuff. Sometimes his location has been off. Like, I think his location was absolutely off against Texas A&M last weekend. But something you notice with Schmidt, he gave up what? He gave up 2 runs, but he only went 4 innings. You would love for him to extend, especially you needed it after everybody you threw on Friday in that 11-inning game, and he wasn't able to. Offensively, some things you would have offensively. Omar Cerna would hit a double to drive in a run, and then Aaron Beatty would hit a 2-run home run in the 1st inning. Aaron Beatty would hit an RBI double in the 5th inning, and then Eddie Yaman also in the 5th inning would hit a 3-run bomb to drive in a run. Yaman would hit a 3-run bomb in the 5th inning. So you would have 4 runs score in the 5th inning for LSU. Aaron Beatty RBI double, Eddie Yaman 3-run home run. So again, and then after Schmidt comes out, Danny Lockenmeyer threw 2 nice scoreless innings on Saturday in the 5th and the 6th innings. And then you get to another inning where I just think you had innings where late in the games you absolutely imploded. I mean, we talked about that 6th inning on Friday, and then it was the 7th inning on Saturday. You're up 7-2. You're up 5 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning on Saturday. But because you threw all of your top guys you threw on Friday, you had to go with some of your guys and kind of go into the back of your bullpen. So Ethan Plog would start it out. Plog would give up 2 leadoff singles. Then Connor Benj would come in, give up a bloop single to Noah Sullivan. That would load the bases. Then Benj would walk in a run. So that would make it 7-3. And then Cooper Williams would come in the game and just flat out hang a breaking ball. Just absolutely very, very poor location. He hung a breaking ball. And let's see, Jacob Parker, I believe that's right. Yeah, Jacob Parker would hit the game-tying grand slam on a hanging breaking ball offered up by Cooper Williams, and that would tie the game. I mean, you were up 7-2. You were up 5 runs, and 5 batters came to the plate. You didn't have an out, and in 5 batters, Mississippi State was able to erase a 5-run lead because you don't have much depth behind. Like obviously behind, I mean, you have in the bullpen Sheeran, Cowan, Guidry, Fontenot, Garcia. I know Lockenmeyer again had a good outing on Saturday, but behind them, I mean, you don't have a ton of depth, and that was absolutely exposed this weekend, and especially in that 7th inning. But again, I mean, you just absolutely imploded. You were up 5 runs, so in 5 batters, they were able to erase that lead. Let's see. In the 8th inning, Grant Fontenot would give up a leadoff double to Reed Stallman in the 8th inning. Noah Sullivan would hit an RBI single to drive in a run to give Mississippi State the lead. On that Noah Sullivan RBI single, Stephen Milam, I don't know if he was trying to relay it or whatever from the throw from Derek Curiel from center field. It deflected off of Milam. If it didn't deflect off of Milam, it might have been a close play at home plate because it looked like it could have been a really good throw by Derek Curiel in center field, but it deflects off of Stephen Milam. That allows a run to score. And then Tanner Reeves later in the same inning would bobble a ball, make an error at third, wouldn't be able to field the ball cleanly, and that would allow another run to score for Mississippi State. Omar Cerna would hit another home run in the 9th inning, but Mississippi State would end up winning Saturday 9-8. And then on Sunday, you had Marcos Paz with the start. I was excited for Marcos Paz to get the start. I thought it was absolutely the right call with everybody that you had used already on the weekend. But on Sunday, LSU let 7 of 8 leadoff runners reach base for Mississippi State. 8 innings Mississippi State batted in 7 of those 8, their leadoff runner reached base. And I think only 2 of those was because of a hit. I mean, this is how it went with your leadoff batters, with Mississippi State's leadoff batters on Sunday. Hit by pitch, walk. Catcher's interference. Hit by pitch, walk. Hit by pitch, ground out, homer. That was how it went in the 8th inning, in the 8 innings for Mississippi State leadoff batters, and that's killer. When the leadoff batter gets on base, when the leadoff runner gets on base, that's absolutely killer. And 3 of those came via hit by pitch. 2 of those games came via walk. 1 of those came via catches and interference, and then you gave up a home run to the leadoff batter in the 8th inning. You blew 3 leads in the game on Sunday. You blew 3 leads. You blew a 3-0 lead early, then you blew a 5-3 lead, and then you blew a 8-5 lead in the 6th inning. Cade Arrambide would hit a 3-run bomb in the 1st inning. That was Arambide's back-to-back days with a home run. Beatty had a homer on Saturday and a home run on Sunday. Stephen Milam would also hit a 2-run bomb in the 3rd inning to give LSU the 5-3 lead. You would have Mason Braun would hit an RBI triple. The first triple of the year for Mason Braun came in the 6th inning. That would drive in a run. And then Omar Cerna later in that same inning would hit a 2-run home run to give LSU the 8-5 lead at the time. Again, Marcos Paz, the freshman, got the start. Paz went 3 innings, gave up 3 runs on 2 hits, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. I thought Paz was okay. He could have been better with command. Definitely as far as, 3 walks issued in 3 innings. And he could have been better with command for sure. But that was his first start of SEC play. I was happy that he got out there and got that experience. And I'm hoping that's going to be valuable for him in the long run. Paz would give up a 3-run home run to Ace Reese in the 2nd inning. This was another thing that bothered me. This was another thing that absolutely bothered me. Ace Reese is David talked about it on Go Deep Dive. Ace Reese is the best hitter on the Mississippi State team. He's a top 20, top 15 prospect in the upcoming MLB draft. He's the best hitter on the team. Friday, he hits a home run because you groove one on Friday. right down the heart of the plate, and he hits it out. Same thing happens on Saturday. Same, like on Sunday, he hits another home run. So it's like David said this, what you said this last week, last Wednesday on Go Deep Dive. You couldn't let Ace Freeze beat you. Well, on Friday, you let him beat you because you hung a ball, right over the middle of the plate. Same thing happened on Saturday, and then he hit another home run on Sunday. That was very, very frustrating because, again, that's not the guy you want to give that to. Let's see. In the fifth inning, Noah Sullivan would hit an RBI double to drive in a run off of Santiago Garcia, and then another run in the fifth would score on an RBI ground out. So that would make the game 5-5. But because of that RBI triple from Mason Braun and that 2-run home run for Omar Cerna in the top of the sixth, you go to the bottom of the sixth, you're up. You're up 8-5. But again, Dax Date would walk the leadoff batter. Then Devin Sheeran would come in. Sheeran would give up a single. This was the play that absolutely kind of flipped the game. Sheeran gives up a single, so you got 2 runners on base. You got a runner on second, runner on first. A ball is hit right back to Sheeran. Kind of panics a little bit. I don't know what it was, and he had a bad throw trying to throw it over to Mason Braun at first base. It gets away from Braun. It's a throwing error on Sheeran, and that allows 2 runs to score to make it 8-7. And it's like, oh boy, here we go again. Here we absolutely go again. That play kind of flipped the game for you. Absolutely. Ace Reese later in the inning would also drive in another run off of Sheeran on an RBI double. And then another run would score later in the inning off of a fielder's choice ground out. And then Mississippi State would score 2 more runs in the 7th, and they would also score 2 more runs in the 8th inning. What do I think about this weekend, man? It's just so frustrating because I thought your bullpen was really good against Texas A&M. I really did. I absolutely did. I thought against one of the best lineups in the SEC, one of the best lineups in the country. I thought you were really good against Texas A&M, and then you come out against Mississippi State. Your offense puts up 8 runs on Friday, 8 on Saturday, 8 runs on Sunday. We see a lot better offensive production from your offense against Mississippi State. And yeah, man, it's the bullpen. It's always something. It's like whack-a-mole. It's like whack-a-mole. Or take your guess. What is going to be the one that fails you this weekend? What phase of the game is going to be the one that fails you this weekend? That's so frustrating. So frustrating. We've seen it throughout the season. Pitching fails for you against Vanderbilt. Hitting fails for you against OU. No phase of the game was really great against Ole Miss. Hitting fails for you against Texas A&M, and then the bullpen fails for you against Mississippi State. It's always something, man. It's always something. And each weekend, we don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what it's going to be, but it's like we always know one phase of the game is going to struggle in any given weekend. You can never put it together, and that's one of the most annoying things about this season. It's crazy, man. Like, again, we talk about the offensive production from this LSU lineup off of the 3 Mississippi State starters, Valenkis on Friday, Duke Stone on Saturday, and Charlie Foster on Sunday. Combined, those starters gave up 17 runs on 19 hits and only 10 1/3 innings to the LSU offense in those 3 games. So you did really, really well against the starting pitchers for Mississippi State, especially Tomas Valenkis. Like, Tomas Valenkis on Friday is one of the best pitchers in the SEC, one of the most elite arms in the entire country. You put up more runs against him. That was the most runs that Valenkis had given up in a game so far this season. Like, he hadn't given up that many runs in a game this season. That's how good you did. So you did really good against the Mississippi State starters. Now, you did struggle a little bit at times against the bullpen. Like, Jack Bauer really kind of shut you down for a couple innings on Saturday. Ben Davis was really good against you on Friday and late in the game on Sunday. So the bullpen caused you a little bit more trouble for Mississippi State. But again, you did really, really well offensively against Mississippi State starting pitchers, and you scored 8 runs in every game this weekend. Like, a lot better than what we've been seeing. A lot better than what we've been seeing. But again, you have a situation where, as a pitching staff in total this weekend, you walked 22 Mississippi State batters, you hit 6 Mississippi State batters, so you issued 28 total free passes were issued by the Tiger pitching staff this weekend. We haven't seen that since Nashville. We haven't seen that since week 1 against Vanderbilt of SEC play, and it absolutely, man, like, it's always something. It's always something every single weekend. There's one phase of the game that's absolutely going to go to crap. And this weekend, it was the bullpen. You only retired Mississippi State in order twice in 27 innings. You only set them down 1, 2, 3 twice in 27 innings. I mean, there's a lot more we can get into as far as the numbers. I'm not going to. It's just, man, it is what it is this season. Like, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Y'all know how much I love LSU baseball. Y'all know how much I love this team. And I do, like, it's not the talent and it's not the fight. It's just when you put it together, they're a well below average baseball team that this weekend couldn't finish games as a bullpen. Other weekends, they're not able to start well. Other weekends, their defense is going to cost you games. Other weekends, their offense is going to cost you games. It's just, it's a level of inconsistency that is just not manageable. And it's why you're 6-15 in SEC play. Is because you don't have a strength. You don't have a strength. You don't have a consistent thing that you can rely on. I'll get into some positives real quick to kind of close the show out, and then we'll get into the comments. I thank you guys for tuning into the show. The positive, man, is your freshman. Like, that's the positive from your freshman this weekend. Again, I think Omar Cerna was awesome this weekend. I think Cerna has had a really, really, really good freshman season. And this weekend, he went 8 for 14 with a double, 3 home runs, and 6 RBIs for Omar Cerna. He had a home run on Friday, a home run on Saturday, and a home run on Sunday from Omar Cerna. Mason Braun, the freshman, went 7 for 13 this weekend. He had a triple on Sunday. He also drew 2 walks. He got hit by a pitch once. He drove in 2 RBIs. I'm really high on the future for Mason Braun. I think he puts a lot of good ABs together. Like, I really do. I like his approach. And Omar Cerna has been great as well. And he was great this weekend. And then Cade Aaron Beatty, who, while he's not a freshman, he's going to be back for you next year. And he had 2 home runs this weekend and a double as well. So Beatty has been good this season, really, since, I mean, that amazing game of a lifetime, one of the best individual performances we've ever seen. Remember when he had 4 home runs in one game on Easter Sunday against Tennessee? I think you have, with the right development, you have a lot of talent with guys like Jack Ruckert and William Patrick. I think Jay has talked a lot about William Patrick being, having all the athletic tools that he needs. And then, being one of the fastest guys that Jay has ever coached. I mean, Patrick gave you the lead on an opposite field RBI single in the top of the 9th on Friday. William Patrick was the guy who gave you the lead in game 1 in the top of the 9th on Friday night in his first SEC start of the season. Like, give that guy credit. I think Jack Ruckert is getting better. He's getting better defensively. I like your freshman. Like, Omar Cerna has been great. Mason Braun's been great. I know Beatty's not a freshman, but he's been great. And then I really, really like the potential that you see in Jack Ruckert and William Patrick. So I think long-term, like, I believe in Jay Johnson. I believe in this coaching staff long-term. I believe in great things in the future for 2027 and beyond. But this season has been brutal. It's been terrible, man. It's been terrible. It's just, you can't play complimentary baseball. I've drilled that into the ground, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. And each weekend, again, the other thing is, we've been talking about fast starts all year long. This team struggling to start fast. They were up 3-0 in the first inning on Friday. Same thing on Saturday. Same thing on Sunday. And this weekend, it flips. most weekends you haven't been able to start well. This weekend you couldn't finish. I mean, long term, like next year, like I don't want to get into that right now fully because I know you got 3 weekends left in the season. Guys, if you're pressing me for something, I don't know how this team makes it to the postseason. I don't know how this team I don't see this team right now um getting more than 4 wins over their next 3 SEC series. And I hate it. Like I hate talking bad about the team and I hate saying all of this stuff, but it's like we have to be honest about what it's been this year. It's been a well below average and a pretty poor baseball team. And again, you broke records this weekend. The records that you absolutely do not want to break, you broke 2 of them. You had the longest losing streak, the worst conference losing streak in program in LSU baseball history. And for the first time in like over 60 years, I don't know. Like as far as they've been keeping track, I know David mentioned this. David's talked about this a lot. Like you get swept for 3 straight weekends. Like, and again, it's just so shocking. It's so shocking that compared to the first Jay Johnson team to ever start 8-0, like at LSU. That's the same team. That's the same team. It's just so unbelievably frustrating. Let's get into the comments here. What's up, Joker? What's up? Let's see. Schmidt threw a respectable 4 like he always does, but he only has 4. Yeah, we talked about that. Not being able to extend. That's the issue for William Schmidt. Guys, I do think I think long term you have like I mentioned it late, like the freshmen I'm excited about Braun, Cerna, Jack Ruckert, William Patrick. Like I know Aaron Beatty's not a freshman, but I'm excited about Beatty coming back. I'm excited about potentially having your whole starting rotation come back next year. Like, but for this season, it's been brutal. It's been brutal, and I hate it for the guys. I hate it for the guys because I do like root and cheer on the Tigers and cheer on all of these guys. But right now, it is what it is this season, man. It is what it is. That's pretty much all I have on the show today. I thank you folks so much, so much for tuning into the show today. Make sure if you're able, leave a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. I thank you folks as always for tuning into the show. God bless. Go Tigers. Remember, as always, love God, love people. Babin on the Bayou, out.